lose the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the net get bigger and we'll take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the country.
Since 2 days ago, this video has been trending on the Nigeria internet space. The person you are seeing is not a new person to you. He is your so-called president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, I believe that Nigeria has been hypnotized by these political cabals. This is what I mean. I want you to take time to listen and understand the concept of this video. About some months ago, this administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu made a harsh decision against the Nigerian nurses. I mean the nurses who went to school in Nigeria here, graduated, they have license, and they were restricted not to practice their profession abroad. Yeah, this administration prevented them not to practice their profession abroad. But this is someone who is your leader. Though he's not my leader, because in this country I don't have a leader. If we have leaders, what we are experiencing will not happen. So this man is consistently going to France, London, and so many parts of the world just for him to get well. The question is Nigeria so poor that the money Nigeria will realize in 1 second or 1 hour or even in 1 day cannot build one of the best hospitals in the world, cannot set up a healthcare that can take care of all these bad politicians? Health tourism is one of the ways that Nigeria is losing their naira. Every time and then all our politicians are going to abroad. Ordinary senator cannot treat himself in Nigeria. And if they want to treat their children in Nigeria, they will only go to private. So the question is, who owns the government hospitals, or who are they built for the poor, right? For me and you. And what pains me most is that most Nigerians don't want to borrow sense. They don't want to get sense. They keep on telling me, oh, it's like you hate this administration. It's like you hate is there anybody who doesn't hate, a bad thing? If you don't hate a bad thing, meaning you are an accomplice to that bad thing. You are aiding that bad thing. But I am not part of people who can aid bad things like this. A president cannot treat himself in Nigeria. This thing did not start during this administration. Remember how Buhari was flying to London, doing all sorts of things abroad. At the time, people started, airing rumors that this man has, but because they are not seeing him. There are a lot of things going on in Nigeria. I think it is time for people to emancipate themselves. We have been psycho-conditioned. We have been lied to. A lot of things has happened to us, and we don't want to borrow sense to understand that this thing is like a secret court to all these politicians. Do not let them to use you together. Look at now what is going on in Edo State. Everybody is just taking part. All of them don't mean well for you. They don't mean well for you at all. They don't mean well for you. All the whole politicians, they have their doctors abroad. Governors' children cannot school in Nigeria. So the schools, who are they building it for? Nigerians should wake up. It is time to wake up. Wake up before it will be too late. It's already getting late. This is the late hour. Everything these people have done bad against us, it has affected ourselves, and God forbid it will not affect our children. Because we refuse to ask questions like, why is it that we don't have 24/7 electricity in Nigeria? No reason. Absolutely no reason. No reason. No reason whatsoever. No reason. Why is it that we don't have free education in Nigeria? No reason. Why is it that we don't have free healthcare in Nigeria? No reason. Absolutely no reason. Why is it that people who don't have job, government is not paying them? No reason. But people will continue to support the government. People will continue to support evil. Why is it that government is not tackling the security? No reason. Absolutely no reason. Anyway, I rest my case. The more the government make mistake, the more everything bad draws near. And when you draw an endestic material to an extent that it cannot draw further, it will cut. That is the situation Nigeria is at this moment.
If the law keeps breaking the people might need to break the law so that they can break free. Apartheid was legal in South Africa, but it was breaking South Africans until they broke it. Slavery was legal. In fact, not only was it legal, slavery is also ecclesiastical. It's in the Bible. that you should respect your master. But when slavery was breaking people, people had to break the law of slavery. So if the Nigerian law keeps breaking the Nigerian people may need to break the part of the law that keeps them broken all the time.
We want you to use the opportunity of this press conference to make it known to the President of Nigeria that things are very bad with the Nigerian people, and they should do something about it, not to give our demands for a better Nigeria as a child's play. Nigerian pensioners lament and cry out for help. Being the text of press conference organized by the national headquarters of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners on the prevailing economic hardships unleashed on innocent Nigerians arising from the unplanned removal of fuel subsidy held at the conference hall of the Union on Monday, 9th September 2024. Good day, gentlemen and women of the press. The Nigerian pensioners, through their umbrella body, the Nigeria Union of Pensioners, NUP, wish to unreservedly express their anger and frustrations on the pains unleashed on them and other vulnerable Nigerians over incessant hike in fuel prices, resulting from the unplanned fuel subsidy removal as pronounced by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his inauguration ceremony in 2023. It is obvious that the Nigerian pensioners and other vulnerable groups in Nigeria are worse hit by the subsidy removal, which resulted to hyperinflation characterized by astronomical rise in the prices of goods and services, which has negatively affected every strata of our lives. Regrettably, as the poor Nigerians and pensioners alike, who are always at the receiving end of every obnoxious and insensitive policy of federal government, we are yet to recover from the last hike of PMS, which gave birth to the End Bad Governance protests across the country just a few months ago. And as if oblivious of the resultant consequences of the protests, the federal government defiantly went ahead to increase fuel price of PMS to further impoverish, pauperize, and choke the Nigerian masses in a manner capable of sending them to their early graves. As far as the NUP is concerned, this is the height of government insensitivity and the lawlessness, which might result to unimaginable grave consequences, as Nigerians cannot afford to be beggars in their own oil-rich country. The essence of this press conference is to remind His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, of the devastating conditions of Nigerian pensioners who are groaning and wallowing in abject poverty, worsened by the avoidable incessant fuel increase that have rendered their paltry monthly pensions useless. Pensioners have no one in government to speak for them, and the only voice they have, which is the NUP, is often neglected by the authority that be. And as we all know, a dog that can only bark but cannot bite is usually ignored and overlooked. As you know, we are retirees, and the power of trade unions is the strike power. Pensioners are already lying prostrate on the ground. We cannot go on strike, and that is what is happening. To crown it all, Nigerians and pensioners alike are daily crying to high heavens to free them from this enslavement and exploitation in their own country. Our patience is overtaxed. The most unfortunate and the unkindest cause of it all, and the case in point, is the failure of the federal government to honor and fulfill its promise of the much touted 25,000 naira palliatives to pensioners, alongside the 6 months wage award to both workers and pensioners, which to the best of our knowledge had been overlooked and forgotten. In another development, and in line with the current economic situations we find ourselves, we wish to humbly suggest that the federal and state governments should consider using the new minimum wage of 70,000 as a basic or template to recompute pension emolument. That is to say, if the minimum wage for the workers is increased by 110%, the same rate of increment should be used to adjust pensions, as it is an incontrovertible fact that all categories of wage earners are in the same ship navigating stormy waters. Therefore, given the present economic quagmire we find ourselves, it will be discriminatory to approve 110% for workers and give the pensioners less in the same economy. This argument can be logically buttressed by the simple fact that if the idea for the minimum wage is to enable workers meet up with the ever-increasing cost of living and cushion the effects of hyperinflation, then the pensioners should get it too, as they are also affected by the vagaries of economic hardship. As we all now, as we all know, the pensioners are no longer in service and do not have any other means. Another means of settling their ever-piling bills. It is therefore equitable that they should be given living minimum wage. Finally, the Nigerian pensioners wish to express their disappointment with what is happening in the country today, in a nation that prides itself as giant of Africa, and in negation of its national anthem, which says, "The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain." As far as the pensioners' union is concerned, the labor of our heroes past and present is perpetually in vain. No thanks to their neglect over decades by the previous and present governments.